That's in regards to the resolution and not the ordinance, is that what you're talking about?
Yes. And then I said that I'm still wondering why we doing so many resolutions anyway, and we still, I didn't say still, and we should be doing this on the ordinance. That on the hour should be taken out and just out.
Any further corrections?
Knowing no more than, like I said, I wish all the citizens would get a chance to read it.
Perhaps what we can do, to remedy that is to submit have a letter on hand just in case if someone should, a copy of a letter, a statement from the office. Don't you think that would suffice? With that being said, motion has been made and second, and corrections. We'd like to take a vote, and we'll start with Councilman Jensen. Are you in, all in favor?
Yes.
Are you in favor of accepting the minutes with the corrections? Any opposed? Motion has been made and second to accept the August 17th minutes. Now we'll move on to the,
Just give a sign. Today's date.
all right, next. Yes, the September 14th.
I offer motion that we accept the minutes from the power meeting, on September the 14th.
Motion has been made and seconded, but I'd like to say there's a correction that needs to be made in that. If you look at the first paragraph, where it says the council of the city of Get Hill, that first.
Oh, okay. Just
Just
move
mark
that
out
square
or
board.
get,
Yeah.
Yes.
put hell.
Right.
You just mark out, yep, put in Gord.
Right, and there was another, I made another correction. It was, check. Okay, look on that very last page. What time was the meeting? I thought we were here a little bit longer than 16 minutes with all of this. But if you all are willing to accept that, I have no problem. The clerk saying we were here for only 16 minutes. So if y'all are willing to accept that, then I have no problem with that. But, motion has been made in second. So I think all the corrections have been made. So with that being said, can I ask, all in favor, Councilman Densley, beginning with you, to accept the call minutes?
Yes. Aye.
No opposed, so the ayes have it. All right. Next, we have the mayor's notes. I'd just like to add that first, notice of election and qualification of candidates pursuant to the official code of Georgia, section 21-2-132. Notice is hereby given that a municipal general election for the city of Gordon, Georgia will be held Tuesday, November 3rd, 2015, to elect 3 city council members. The new 4-year term will begin January 1st, 2016. Candidates will run at large, and those 3 candidates receiving the highest number of votes will be deemed elected for the city council. Only those residents of Gordon who are registered voters are eligible to vote in this election. The registration deadline is October 5th, 2015. Voter registration applications are available at the Gordon City Hall, the county elections office, and online at sos.ga.gov. The election will be held at the Rama voting precinct here in the city annex. The address is 108 Elam Street. The poll will open from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. Secondly, I'm pleased to announce that the new website for the city is up. The address of the website is www.cityofgordongeorgia.org. This new website was designed to more effectively provide information to residents and visitors to the city. It has also been created to function effectively as a mobile website for your smartphone or tablet. So over the coming weeks and months, the City of Gordon will be publishing information to the website to keep the public informed about news and events impacting the city. Third, photos of your elected officials are up and visible now as you enter the City Hall. The audit for 2014 has been received for fiscal year 2014. Mr. Edwards of Malden and Jenkins reported that the city has money in the bank and assets totaling $3.158 million as of September 30th, 2014, with liabilities of about $131,000. He went on to report that the city has a reserve fund equivalent to about 17 months of operating expenses, and the 2014 audit shows the city of Gordon in a sound financial position capable of withstanding temporary turbulence in the local economy. In accordance with the official code of Georgia, section 6-81-7E, the City of Gordon's annual audit is available for inspection by the general public at City Hall and will be published to the website as soon as any comments are received from the state auditor. There will be a call meeting regarding the budget for fiscal year 2015/16 and audit for 2014/15, and declare items surplus on Monday, September 28, 2015, at 5:30 p.m. The council will retire to executive session to discuss EOC complaints following. Next, Tax Commissioner Vanessa Fountain has stated that the mill run 2 consecutive weeks in the paper and placed the adoption of the millage rate for the October 5th, 2015 meeting at 7:30 p.m. Now, on October 8th, the Middle Georgia Regional Commission annual meeting will be held at Lake Tobesaki. The social hour begins at 5 p.m. and dinner at 6 p.m. The flu shot information is available at City Hall. And I'd like to ask, and say to you all, council, that I'm asking that we would give each other member a chance to give their vote. And let everything be done in decency and order. We take turns, not just shouting at one time. All right. And I believe there, for the 20, I don't have that particular invitation with me, but I believe that the, commissioners, have you all responded to that about the, golf event over in, the country club in Milledgeville?
Normally they don't know.
Well, I knew that, but I misplaced the invite, so, all right, and that being the closing of the mayor's notes, so I have no old business to discuss. We'll move on to the new business. First on the agenda is the, resolution of council meeting procedures, and, we have Attorney Boone here. Would you, address that Attorney Boone, regarding that settlement agreement that we spoke about? I think it was
Yes,
right.
ma'am, this is a follow-up to the settlement on the complaint with Wilson County Post and Bailey. Part of that settlement was the council institute procedures and policies for citizens to be heard. And we drew those up and they were submitted a couple of meetings ago for council consideration. They were not put on the calendar, meeting.
She's wanting a copy of it.
You have a copy, please?
I got one. Sure did that, that's all I got.
I believe there's 3 parts to it. There's the resolution, then there's the registration of citizens, then there's rules posted and handed out for each meeting, posted for each meeting.
I've got these resolutions.
What is that?
2 parts.
That's the actual form. What you've got there's the
Form to fill
resolution,
out.
that's the form.
And the rules, participation in the state.
So this goes hand in hand. Have y'all seen it, council? Would y'all like to take a look at it?
You had that. You had it. Did you everybody?
It's sent to all council members months ago.
Y'all have y'all's copy?
I'll read mine, yes, ma'am.
You have your council copy. You have your council. you see that,
We're gonna have to read the
is-
resolution out loud anyway, aren't you?
It was, faxed to the city hall on, August 21st, a month ago.
And this is the resolution.
That's the resolution.
And also faxed to Mayor, your, fax number, 6281011.
Probably got misplaced without the resolution. All right, if that being said, then we'll, go ahead and, look at this, we'll go ahead and I'll read the resolution.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Why do we need a resolution for that? Why couldn't we do that by ordinance? Since our city charter says that we do things by ordinances instead of, resolutions.
Well, this comes under the procedures, part of the charter, it says the council can.
Which section is that,
institute,
attorney? If you'll direct me to it, because I,
1 second.
okay.
Section 3.14A, city council shall adopt rules and procedure and order of business consistent with the provisions of this charter, and shall provide for keeping the journal of its proceedings, which shall be a public record. Now, the adoption of rules and procedure under this ordinance would be in the form of a resolution, because it is not really an ordinance, it's a policy and procedure of the council, not an ordinance. Usually things like this will happen. You have an ordinance in place that says council shall adopt rules, and a resolution would be put in place to carry out provisions of that ordinance.
Okay.
That we have to think to explain.
All right, if you're looking at section 3.14, and I'm looking at that under section 3.16, where it says ordinances. It says in part A, every proposed ordinance shall be introduced in writing and in the form required for final adoption. No ordinance shall contain a subject which is not expressed in its title. The enacting clause shall be the council of the city of Gordon hereby ordains, and every ordinance shall so begin. Do you have your copy of yours with you?
I do.
And it's saying basically, an ordinance may be introduced by any council member and be read at a regular special meeting of the city council. Ordinances shall be considered and adopted or rejected by the city council in accordance with the rules which it shall establish. Provided, however, an ordinance shall not be adopted the same day it is introduced, except for emergency ordinances provided for in section 3.18. Upon introduction of any ordinance, the clerk shall, as soon as possible, distribute a copy to the mayor and to each council member, and shall file a reasonable number of copies in the office of the clerk and at such other public places as the city council may designate. I mean, it's specifically stated enough.
It doesn't say that has to be an ordinance.
Ordinance.
But does
It
it
doesn't
say
say, it doesn't specifically state a resolution either.
What I'm saying is, Mayor, is this policies and procedures does not need the formality of a formal ordinance. This is merely a procedure underneath the council's authority to establish procedure. Now, if you go into making everything an ordinance, this book's gonna be about 3 feet thick pretty quick. That's not what it's designed for.
What is the resolution? Is that the same, would it be the same amount? I'm just asking. I mean, is that what
Well,
you're
I'm trying
asking?
to, I'm trying to address that, but it doesn't seem to be getting anywhere with it. I'm saying you don't need an ordinance to do what
I mean,
you're
I'm just
trying to
reading
do.
specifically, as they said, this is the heart of the city. We abide by the charter, is what I've always been told. But if it would say resolution, then I wouldn't have a problem, but it specifically, what I'm reading here says ordinances.
Mayor, section 3.15 of the charter addresses how the city can act. The city can act by ordinance, by resolution, or by motion.
That's in voting.
Correct. And so the city council is a legislative body, and they vote to either enact an ordinance or to make a resolution to do something different, or that you may have a motion, and those are varying degrees of complexity. An ordinance, when you violate the city law, you have violated a city ordinance, and the police officer can write you up for violating that ordinance, like littering on the roadway, and if the chief sees that you're littering, he can actually say, okay, there's a city ordinance that addresses this, which is a city law, and he can write you a citation for violation of that city ordinance. Just like state law, only this is a city law. But we don't need to change city laws all the time, so they make less formal ways of doing it. One way is by resolution, which is more formal than a motion, which motions are handled frequently, like, I move that we, allow so-and-so to, ask somebody about riding in the parade on Wednesday. That's still an act of this council, but it doesn't need to be formalized, something so formal as a resolution. It certainly doesn't need to be codified into law. However, record, and so those motions are recorded, the votes are recorded. In fact, that is one of the primary duties of the clerk, is to make sure that if nothing else happens in the council meeting, she records any motions and the votes.
And I hear what you're saying, but in this, as it states, it says, voting on the adoption of ordinances shall be by voice vote, and the vote shall be recorded in the journal. But any member of the city council shall have the right to request a roll call vote, and such vote shall be recorded in the journal. That's regarding vote, except as otherwise provided in this charter. The affirmative vote of 4 council members shall be required for the adoption of any ordinance, resolution, or motion.
Right.
So it doesn't clearly define, whether I guess it's just the terminology.
Well, what, can I say?
It would be a matter of, do you want something actually codified and made an entire new city law, which some things you don't want to make a law, especially settlement agreements and things like that, because then it's a law on the books that you intended to only do one time. You could end up doing it multiple times because you now have a law in Gordon. You change the law by ordinance. So we don't need to do that. We just need to adopt a new procedure, which probably needs more formality because it's part of a settlement agreement than just a mere motion. So we chose to do it by resolution because ordinance is quite a bit more complex. It's a change of law. I mean, ordinances have been done. I think we did a beer and wine alcohol ordinance or something a few years ago, and it's a much more complicated procedure. I think the council members are bigger, will be familiar with.
You were here when they did that, the ordinance?
I've seen them, ma'am. I've looked over the charter and I've seen all the different amendments to the charter, and the ordinance would actually amend the law.
Not the resolution.
Well, a resolution could, but it's not really gonna be codified into the ordinance. It's gonna be,
When you say codified,
it's made part of the code of the city of Gordon, Georgia. So that when you look into the code of ordinances,
codified.
then there will be a new ordinance in there, and it'll be something new that the police could actually write a citation for violation.
I think you want to say something.
I was gonna say with the, resolution, when you do a resolution, then that, cut out the mayor having her, the options of veto. She can't veto it.
Right, but in this circumstance, ma'am, that doesn't apply. She can't veto this anyway. It's already been voted on and passed by the council. We just need to adopt and approve the ordinance.
What has already been voted on?
The settlement agreement. This is part of the settlement. We have agreed we're going to do this as part of the settlement agreement. So
So that's what this is in regards to.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it's that only. This
Yes, ma'am.
particular instance is what you're saying. Am
Yes, ma'am.
I correct?
This particular instance, the council's already voted that we will do this. And it's a formality now that we'll read this resolution and adopt it.
And we can't do that as ordinance, since we making these rules for everybody. Well, we could-
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I mean, we're
We
trying to
can,
understand.
you're
now.
talking about now going and changing the law, so, I guess, the answer is yes, you could change the law and say, we're gonna adopt a new law, and here's the new law for the citizens of city board, and we're gonna put it in the code section. But that's a much more complex procedure, and we would need to know in advance about something like this. Is
Cause we keep using a lot, like I said, we keep using a lot of resolution.
because they're relatively cheap and easy to do.
Yeah, but then it also strips the mayor can, veto it.
Right, but it doesn't apply to this, and, because I understand what you're saying, but in this instance, that doesn't apply to you.
Well, would it apply?
Well, this is going to happen, because the council's already said it's gonna happen as part of the
The
settlement.
resolution is already going to happen, that's what you're
We
saying?
have to put these policies and procedures in place, or you reach your
Whether,
settlement agreement.
whether we can, I mean, I'm just asking, I'm trying to get clarity, you're saying that we have no other choice except to accept the resolution, or it can be written up as an ordinance, so.
You can,
I'm trying to understand now, explain to
or
me,
you throw $45,000 in the trash, yeah, one or the other.
based on the fact that it was, the wording was changed, instead of using a resolution. Instead of using an ordinance, you put it to a resolution. I see nothing in
If
this
the
charter.
council, the council deems it necessary to change, to recodify something, then we can do that.
I'm not saying that the council has not recodified or codified as you're saying. What I'm trying to understand is that it spells out in here that in each case, it continuously, this is in section 3.20. It says codification of ordinances. It doesn't say codification of resolutions.
Right, because only ordinances will be codified. If you're gonna change the law, and I think every time we've done it,
And I'm trying to understand. I mean,
every
you know.
time we've done an ordinance and changed the law, it has gone by the vote of the council members, it has been approved, it has been read, it has been adopted, the way that you're reading, but it doesn't say that's the only way you can do something. In fact, what you just read says you can vote on ordinances, resolutions, or motions.
Right, that's
So
what I've read.
It's clear that you can do something other than an ordinance, you can also do resolutions and motions.
And I understand and I hear what you're saying, but it clearly, all throughout this charter, and I have it right here before me, it does specifically not address the codification of a resolution.
Because it's not. The ordinances are what's cut. Ordinance is a change of the code of Georgia. Changing the law.
Does anybody, are y'all understanding?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
The rest of you all, you're not the only one that can, and you know what? It's okay to address, but I ask in a nice manner, and please respond in a dignified manner. So I'd like to ask,
I understand.
what about you, Councilwoman Wood? What about you, Councilwoman Todd?
I understand what he's saying because when we was here before and, they talked about doing this resolution to the citizens out here that be talking out and going on, this is why they want to adopt this to stop that. I understand what he's saying about that.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So the audience in the event, anybody speaks out of term in here, well, I wanna make sure we are clearly understood.
That's the intention, is to make sure that you're clearly understood, so that there's notice to everyone attending the meeting, what the rules are, what the, what the responsibilities are on either side, and that, this is a city council meeting, which is open to the public, but it's not a meeting, it's not the public's meeting. It's not for the public
Right.
to come and speak out and say
I'm-
what they have to say. It's the council's meeting, and if somebody's gonna be heard, they need to be recognized by the council. And that's all we're doing is, if you read through it, we're putting notice to everybody, especially citizens, to be heard. You need to tell us what you're gonna talk about, you need to be clear about that, we need to limit the time that you're gonna speak, and that kind of thing.
Okay, I think you clarified it much more now since, Councilwoman Toad brought. What about you, Councilman Swan? You clearly understand?
Yeah.
And I know you said you did, what about you?
Yes.
Okay, well, now we'll just, any further discussion? Did you have any more questions? Councilwoman Woodford?
No, I'm okay, I just wanted to, make sure that certain things that we shouldn't, that everything we're doing mostly, we are saying resolution. And we are doing resolution. And I think we should be going down to the charter, doing
charter about that, but this particular, he's explained it that this particular one addresses each individual that are in this public meeting. And he, if I'm clear, then now you correct me if I'm wrong, to make sure that I'm understanding. You're saying that if this goes not only for what has been put in this, which I don't know just yet, the resolution, but it's for any public figure that sits in this audience, that they should not speak out of turn. It holds it to this codification.
Yeah, it puts everybody on notice of what the rules are. Yes, ma'am.
I have no problem with that. Well, council, so what I'll do is, before we take a vote on this and read this to you, so that you all can decide. It says a resolution of the city of Gordon establishing rules of procedure for citizen participation in council meetings. Witnesses, whereas section 3.14 of the charter of the city of Gordon provides that the city council shall adopt rules of procedure for council meetings, and whereas the council finds that citizen participation in council meetings is important for the city council to be informed of issues involving the city government, policies and operations, and whereas the council wishes to allow citizens who have issues of public concern to be able to present their concerns to the council in an orderly and dignified manner. Now therefore, be it resolved by the council of the city of Gordon pursuant to section 3.14 of the charter of the city of Gordon pursuant to section 3.14 that the following rules of procedure shall be followed by citizens who wish to present issues of concern that pertain to city issues, policies, or operations. Okay. Number one, citizens who wish to address the council must complete the registration form, which is attached to and incorporated as part of the resolution. The form shall be submitted to the clerk no later than 5 days, calendar days. Now, did the, judge put this in writing? Because this comes to the mayor, and it does not state this in the charter. As I read this, it says, all, according to section 3.14.
Well, that's designed because if somebody can't, you know,
We
you're
don't wanna
unavailable.
add another,
You're not available, they can just bring it to City Hall and it'll be there.
well, we'll have to, if I'm not in my absence, we have the mayor pro tem. I don't think this should be the decision of the clerk.
Not the decision of the clerk, it comes to you, Mayor.
It turned into me and I.
She's just like
Oh,
somebody
okay.
paying their water bill.
Somebody come and pay the water bill.
Okay. Now, I'm glad you, but it needs to state that because it's not saying that right here. Okay, so I have no problem until it says that, okay? The form shall be submitted to the clerk, and citizens may be contacted before the meeting if clarification is needed. So we might need to add that little statement in there. Citizen comments, because it doesn't say that it'll be presented to the mayor, so I, with that little, addition.
I think if you look on